The film begins with a squad of Nazi naval troops heading toward a ship on the immense Atlantic. Aboard, Captain Gus March Phillips and Lassen covert operatives for the UK forces look forward to their approach. When the Nazi leader questions them, Lassen acts as a Swede. The leader and his crew come aboard to check IDs in the ship. Gus mentions they're merely enjoying a casual vacation, relishing the sea's vastness. Following a strained inspection of papers, Lassen proposes some snacks to the leader, which seems to aggravate him further. He commands them to give up with their hands up. In the midst of this, Lassen can't resist a chuckle, humorously wagering on firing at Gus, who also starts chuckling. Enraged, the leader instructs his squad to soak their boat with fuel. Sharing a harsh tale of a past run-in with a different ship, he gives them a dire ultimatum: perish in flames or attempt to escape by swimming. As the troops begin dousing the ship with fuel, the leader recounts the terrible end met by those who opposed him. Yet, as the suspense intensifies, they uncover a secret compartment, and British trooper Hayes neutralizes the danger from inside. Meanwhile, Gus and Larson killed all the troops outside and explode their ship. Fred's question triggers a memory from 25 days earlier, transitioning to the British Prime Minister delivering alarming updates to Major M and Ian Fleming. They observe the harsh truth of Hitler's victories, with nations like Poland, France, and Belgium already subdued, positioning Britain as Europe's final stronghold. In the chaos, it's disclosed that the United States has vowed to assist, but Hitler's merciless submarines are a grave menace, obstructing crucial supply lines. The Prime Minister stresses the need to interfere with the submarines' operations to prevent more ruin. In spite of the perils, he is adamant about the mission's confidentiality, cautioning about the severe repercussions if they are detected by either British troops or Nazi squads. In the hidden base of the covert mission, Executive M informs Fleming and the intelligence officers, Miss Stewart and Heron, about their trump card Captain Gus March Phillips, a talented agent detained by Royal Command. Stewart and Heron hold on to optimism as Gus is brought in, taken aback by the task ahead. Gus keenly collects and secures all that he favors in the chamber allocated for Operation Postmaster. Gus is briefed on his task: incapacitate the German submarines by focusing on the WWII, a vital component of their logistical network, presently docked at the island of Fernando Po in West Africa. Facing a stringent 44-day limit, Gus demands to choose his own crew. He summons Hayes first, driven by a deep-seated grudge against the Nazis for his siblings' demise. Next, he picks Fred, praising his proficiency as a diver. After selecting Fred, Gus summons Lassen, noting his tough childhood spent fighting bears and pursuing elks. He commends Lassen's skill with a Bowie knife, bow and arrows, claiming he knows over 100 creative methods to defeat a foe. Gus then highlights the significance of Appleyard, an expert tactician and chess champion. He reminisces about their time together at Dunkirk, admitting he owes his life to Appleyard. Ian interjects, disclosing that Appleyard has been seized while on Operation Postmaster and is now imprisoned in La Palma. Unfazed, Gus is determined to free him along the way, taking on the challenge with confidence. The briefing continues, unveiling Stewart's comprehensive military instruction over 2 years, along with her abilities as a vocalist and actress. Heron's experience, too, is notable, having run several ventures on Fernando Po, proving their essential role in the group. Tasked with the operation by M, Gus exits the office, wearing M's jacket as a mark of command. In the current moment, Gus clarifies the details of their assignment to his team, emphasizing the rescue of Appleyard as a key objective. He reveals that 2 allies are covertly on a Nazi train, ensuring the Duchessa carries explosive cargo. Shifting to the train mission, Stewart and Heron are shown managing their duties amid the dining car's disorder. Under Heron's direction, Stewart captures an essential moment to grab a briefcase, skillfully tricking the oblivious troops. Even though a soldier tries to pressure her into performing a song, the commander steps in, averting any further doubts. But Heron steps up just in time to calm the scene, letting them sneak into a hidden room to send crucial details to M and Fleming. Once the message is sent, M quickly orders it to be passed on to the Prime Minister, keeping him updated on the Nazi schemes. Stewart and Heron manage to put the briefcase back without a hitch, keeping their identities safe. In the Prime Minister's strategy room, Admiral Pahn leads a meeting with military leaders who reveal Hitler's proposal to give up. Despite their advice, the Prime Minister firmly rejects their suggestion, determined to press on with the battle. In a confidential discussion with M and Fleming, the Prime Minister comes to terms with the seriousness of their predicament, recognizing the political dangers involved. Regardless of the possible fallout, he stands firm in his dedication to their plan. Gus assembles his crew and details the strategy to free Appleyard, advising a nocturnal operation. Yet, nearing the Nazi encampment on La Palma, they grasp that delay could seal Appleyard's fate. Short on time, they decide on an immediate assault, nearly compromised when guards detect them. But Lassen quickly eliminates the danger. Lassen killed them one by one with his bow and arrow. After killing the guards, they entered into the base and killed all the soldiers with guns. Gus killed soldiers with his gun without even looking at them. Lassen used grenades to detonate the soldiers. Now, the scene shifts to Freddy, who is using a machine gun to blast their vehicles so they cannot run from the war zone. Then we see Lassen, who is engaged in hand-to-hand combat with multiple soldiers, showcasing his strength and skills. Once he knocked out all soldiers, he set free Appleyard from their custody. Their mission is accomplished as they walk away from the war zone. After winning the war, they detonate their whole camp with bombs. At Fernando Po's lively dock, Stewart and Heron are met with an unexpected surge in personnel, boats, and Duchessa staff. Unwavering, Heron points out a man named Lure to Stewart, identifying him as crucial to their plan, describing Lure as more dangerous than the Nazis. Heron tasks Stewart with distracting him. In Lure's territory, Heron starts to bargain for storage boxes, but Stewart steps in, proposing a much lower bid. With her sharp negotiating skills, Stewart convinces Lure that a steeper cut would be detrimental to them both. When asked who she is, Heron introduces Stewart as his distinguished associate from New York. Using her charm, cleverness, and verbal skill, Stewart sways Lure to consider their offer, luring him with the thrill, and gains a head. Won over by her command of German and her knack for unraveling his puzzle, Lure decides to join forces. Once the agreement is in place, Stewart takes her leave, leaving Lure to mull over her mysterious exit. Learning of Lure's harshness makes Stewart uneasy, but bolstered by Heron, she braces herself for what's to come. Simultaneously, Appleyard equips Gus and the team with privileged intel, charting the fastest way to dodge both the British Navy and German OTs. At Lure's gambling house, Heron leaves Stewart to handle a strained situation between Captain Bena and a server named Faye. While Heron diverts Bena, Stewart watches closely as Lure approaches her table, smartly solving her puzzle. Their chat becomes grave when Lure probes her views on transactions with Jews. Stewart skillfully agrees, gaining Lure's trust and laying the groundwork for a growing rapport. As their connection solidifies, Heron suggests throwing a festivity to honor their new partnership. Simultaneously, Stewart and Heron swiftly share vital news about Duessa's premature sailing with Gus and the Covert Ops Command Center. Yet, they're unaware that a traitor in the SOE snags the communication, forwarding it to Fleming, who then alerts M. As M sets out in response to the intel, the informant notifies Admiral Pond of the undercover operation, triggering concern. At their headquarters, Gus and his squad plan their next steps to arrive at Fernando Po sooner than planned. With only 12 days left before they reach Fernando Po, a severe German attack jolts London, rattling the metropolis and casting them into deeper doubt. The Prime Minister, perceiving the chaos, rallies his brave troops, embarking on an unprecedented mission, determined to continue. As they approach their goal with merely 2 days to go, a British battleship unexpectedly halts them. Realizing escape is pointless, Gus stops their vessel, ready for the standoff. Challenged by the Major, Gus and his team resolutely stand their ground, committed to their unsanctioned task. The Major cautions them about possible global fallout and discloses Admiral Pond's command to cease their journey. With the tension mounting, the sudden appearance of a German submarine distracts the battleship. Taking advantage of this moment, the Major lets Gus and his group quietly depart, advising them to rethink their plan. With nimble maneuvers, Gus navigates their vessel away from impending peril. The following day, Heron acquaints Stewart with Camp Billy, the Prince of Fernando Po, whose schooling at Eton initially suggests a sense of privilege. Yet Stewart's allure and convincing arguments quickly sway him, securing his alliance against their mutual adversary. Showcasing her skill with a range of guns, Stewart earns the confidence of both Billy and Heron. As Hayes and Gus agree on a meeting spot with Billy and Heron, their bond grows, particularly when Gus identifies Billy as Eton's ex-cricket captain. Gus unveils his strategy to disable the Nazi submarine in the North Atlantic by striking at Duchessa and its accompanying boats. Despite the formidable challenges they face, Billy is captivated and becomes aware of the overwhelming odds against Gus and his squad. Promptly, Billy orders support to rally his forces, disclosing their hidden arsenal. Yet he voices doubts about Duchessa's visibility, given its extensive illumination. Gus comforts him, assuring that Heron will take care of the lighting situation. As Heron prepares the explosives to shroud the evening in darkness, Stewart's concern for his well-being grows. Unfazed, Heron encourages her to concentrate on her assignment to entice Lure to the soiree he's organized. Gus tries to offer Billy a reward for his help, but Billy declines, valuing an honorary title from the monarchy more than cash. Agreeing to the title in place of payment, Billy hands back the money. In the meantime, Heron sets the explosive in the lighting control room, where he's confronted by 3 Nazis. With his concealed weapon, Heron quickly disarms the menace. With night approaching, Gus and his allies watch for the cover of darkness, noting 2 distinct celebrations, one for the officers and another for the enlisted men. Concurrently, Stewart, accompanied by Lure, mingles at the event. Gus's team is on standby for the go-ahead to initiate their mission. Meanwhile, regular troops and mariners are enjoying themselves at a different gathering. At the costume party, when the Duchess's skipper shows up, Stewart finds out that the vessel has been upgraded with additional plating. Stewart relays this update to Heron, who hastens to the coast to alert the saboteur using visual cues. Gus opts to inform General Gobbin about the altered situation, but as they talk, the superiors cut in and reissue commands for the saboteur to cease the unsanctioned mission. The team deliberates on their subsequent move. Appleyard proposes an alternative strategy if destroying the ship is not an option. Commandeering it becomes the plan. This requires hijacking a towboat, overcoming the vessel's sentinels, and detonating the mooring chain right as the ship is about to depart. With no superior options, they embark on carrying out this scheme. Once apart, the saboteur sets off on a fresh task. Gus and Hayes arrive at the port and advance with lethal intent, taking out the German sentries stationed there. Alvarez rigs a fuel storage site to drain the Nazi vehicles of fuel. Done with that, he secures the hangar entrance where German troops and seamen are reveling. Lassen, aboard a small boat, reaches the mooring chain and fixes explosives to it. Appleyard, alongside Kuh's group, navigates to the Duchess and takes control, eliminating any Nazis who resist. After securing the upper deck, they descend, navigating the passageways to the sailors' living quarters cautiously. Lassen completes his work on the mooring and ascends next, aiding in neutralizing the watch with the front end of the ship. Gus and Hayes commandeer the tug and neutralize the watchman. Gus permits a sole youth to escape by diving into the sea. He signals to the Duchess that all is in place, and then the strategy progresses to its concluding stage as the saboteurs approach with a tug and secure the cargo ship to it. The explosives on the mooring chain are set off. The blast reaches the ears of the revelers, but it's already too late. The vessel is advancing towards the port's exit. A depot brimming with combustible substances and fuel detonates. Amidst the turmoil and alarm, the troopers dash to the artillery to thwart the commandeers. They are taken down by the ship's automatic firearms. Kuo's troops retaliate with shell launchers, and the maritime patrol fires shells but fails to hit. Hayes sustains an injury. Heinrich Löhr makes his entrance garbed as Caesar, so the grim scene unfolding before him doesn't catch him off guard. The port overseer and the Duchess's captain are incensed by the subversion. They vociferously vent their indignation. An exasperated SS officer dispatches them. Subsequently, the sentries escort and a detained steward. Löhr moves toward the automobile, menacing to inflict pain on her for her involvement in the scheme. Yet the young woman isn't bewildered and dispatches him with a concealed firearm to the forehead. The sentinels are dispatched by Heron, who timely discerns that his ally is in peril. Following this, they depart. Gus issues a final command to his crew to reach out to the British fleet and surrender the prize vessel. When the saboteur meets the British fleet later in the day, they are cordially detained for defying a direct command. Only Prince Fernando Pio Callo avoids this outcome. He is a faithful servant of the monarchy and disregards the admiral's directives. Gus bids him farewell and returns to the penitentiary, where General Goeben has placed him for this mission. In London, the saboteurs are assembled. Prime Minister Churchill steps forward to address them. He speaks about how their nation is founded on order, discipline, and hierarchy, values they've violated through their deeds. Yet their actions have disrupted the German submarines' operations, and the initial American forces have landed on the shores. Following Churchill's directive, the shackles are taken off the prisoners, and as a gesture of amends, the guards serve trays of treats. Henceforth, Gus's team is directly employed by Prime Minister Churchill. The film concludes with a historical note on the real-life figures involved in the modestly celebrated operation. Don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications to catch more videos like this. Thank you for watching.